The Ruler of Chaos. Act 1. The Terrible Takeover. After the chaos of the final battle with the symbiote, Peter Parker stood atop the crumbling ruins of Oscorp Tower. The city lay at his feet, not as a place he'd once sworn to protect, but as a playground of endless possibilities. The black suit, fused permanently to his skin, pulsed with a hunger that whispered promises he could no longer resist. And tonight, Peter didn't resist. New York had always been a city of rules, laws, morality, heroes, villains, but Peter had learned that rules were fragile things. The people he loved had betrayed him, the city he saved had mocked him, and the symbiote had shown him a power he could never relinquish. If the city would not bend to justice, it would bend to him. He started small. A few crime families here, a corrupt councilman there. Those who resisted vanished into the night, leaving the streets clean but trembling. The press spun tales of a new protector, a shadowy figure who punished criminals more efficiently than any cop or councilman ever could. But the truth was uglier. Peter Parker wasn't protecting New York, he was owning it. Every alley, every subway line, every skyscraper whispered his name. Even Felicia, the black cat, had felt the shift. She appeared on a rooftop one night, her silver hair glinting in the moonlight, eyes wary. "Pete, this isn't you," she hissed. Peter's shadowed grin widened. "This is me, Felicia. The real me. The me that finally accepts the city for what it is, and what it needs. Someone to lead it. Someone who won't fail." She reached for him, but the symbiote moved first, a tendril snaking between them. I can't stop," Peter whispered. "I won't stop." From that night on, New York changed. No more petty crooks, no more gangs running neighborhoods unchecked. But freedom had a price. Citizens walked in fear as the once friendly Spider-Man became a specter of authority, patrolling with a lethal grace, a savior who demanded obedience. Even the heroes who once fought beside him, Mary Jane, the other Spideys, the Avengers, could only watch from the shadows as Peter Parker declared the city his own. And in the quiet corners of the city, whispered in fear and awe, was the new truth: Spider-Man wasn't just a hero anymore. He was New York, the ruler of chaos. Act 2. King for a day. Months had passed, and Peter Parker's grip on New York had tightened. The skyline, once bright with life and hope, now seemed to bow under his shadow. Streets ran like veins with black-suited enforcers, former petty criminals, reformed and repurposed, loyal only to the Spider. There was order, yes, but it was a fragile, tense order, maintained by fear as much as by power. Felicia had tried to intervene. She prowled the rooftops at night, leaving warning notes, confronting Peter when she could. "People aren't tools, Peter. You're losing yourself." He laughed then, a sound like metal scraping concrete. "I found myself, Felicia. You don't get it. New York, it's chaotic, ungrateful. I'm the only one who can give it direction. The only one strong enough." Her eyes flickered with sadness and anger. "And what happens when even you can't control it? What happens when someone rises against you?" Peter's grin was razor sharp. "Then I crush them. And rise against him." They did. Shadows moved in secret, heroes, vigilantes, even some of the villains he had subjugated. Mary Jane had disappeared, secretly rallying those who refused to live under Spider-Man's iron web. Daredevil, Nightcrawler, and a few Avengers slipped into the city, whispering plans of rebellion, of reclaiming freedom. Peter knew it. The symbiote told him, every tendril twitching with anticipation. Every challenge would come, and he would break it, them. The first real strike came on a rainy night. Explosions rocked the financial district as rebel forces attacked one of his command centers. Peter arrived, black suit glinting under neon lights, tendrils whipping through the air. He moved like a shadow made solid, a nightmare incarnate. Within minutes, the rebellion's front line lay shattered, their forces scattered, their leaders captured. Felicia was there, cornered in the chaos. "Pete, stop, please, this isn't what you promised." He stared, eyes glowing faintly red in the darkness. "This is what I promised, Felicia. Control, order, the only way to save this city." Her expression hardened. "Then you've already lost it. Lost yourself." Peter hesitated, just a heartbeat, then turned away. The symbiote hummed approval, wrapping him in darkness as he disappeared into the rain-soaked skyline. And yet, even in victory, there was tension. The city whispered his name not with gratitude, but with fear. Rebellion brewed in secret, even stronger than before. And deep inside, buried beneath the symbiote's hunger and his own ego, Peter Parker felt a flicker of doubt. A single thought that refused to die: what happens if I fall? Because every king has a kingdom, and every kingdom has enemies waiting in the dark. The ruler of chaos. Act 3. Salvation. The rebellion had grown. Hidden factions of heroes, former allies, and brave citizens had begun striking in the dead of night. Power stations sabotaged. Black-suited enforcers ambushed. The city itself seemed to pulse with resistance, an organism fighting against the parasite that had become its king. Peter Parker watched it all from the top of the Empire State Building, the symbiote rippling across his skin like liquid shadow. He could feel every heartbeat of the city, every whisper of fear, every spark of defiance. He didn't just see the rebellion, he felt it crawling beneath his skin. The final confrontation came in the heart of Times Square. Explosions lit the neon signs, painting the square in flickering reds and blues. Mary Jane led the charge, flanked by Daredevil and a handful of former heroes. They faced Peter, and for the first time, he felt the weight of their resolve. "Pete, you don't have to do this," Mary Jane shouted over the chaos, her voice trembling but fierce. "You can still come back." He stood tall, the black tendrils of the symbiote curling around him, a living shadow. "Come back, to what? A city that always doubted me. A world that never understood." His voice was calm, almost sad, but every word dripped with menace. "No, MJ, I'm done being the Spider-Man who fails." The battle erupted. Tendrils tore through the concrete, shadows struck like lightning, and the city itself became a battlefield. Buildings shook, streets cracked, and screams filled the air. Peter moved with terrifying precision, every strike a statement of power, but something flickered in his eyes, hesitation. Every time Mary Jane dodged, every time he spared a life, the faintest trace of the man he once was shone through. In the aftermath, the square was a ruin. Peter stood alone, the symbiote recoiling slightly as if sensing his inner conflict. Mary Jane collapsed nearby, bloodied but alive, her eyes meeting his. "Pete, what are you?" she whispered. He looked out at the city, smoke curling over the skyline, lights flickering, the faint hum of rebellion still alive in the shadows. He didn't answer immediately. Instead, he allowed a small, almost imperceptible sigh. "I don't know," he admitted finally, his voice low, uncertain. "Maybe I am, maybe I'm not." He leapt into the night, vanishing into the darkness, leaving behind only the faint glimmer of a black spider-shaped shadow across the city. Below, the citizens whispered, some with hope, some with fear, unsure if the man who had once been their hero had returned, or if the King of New York was gone, leaving only a shadow. And the city waited, knowing one truth: Spider-Man would be back. But whether he would save them, or rule them, no one could tell. The ruler of chaos. Epilogus. Years had passed. New York had rebuilt itself, the streets bustling, the skyline shining again, but beneath the surface, an undercurrent of unease remained. Whispers still lingered. Of a shadow in the alleys, of a black spider that watched from rooftops, of a protector, or predator, who never truly left. Peter Parker moved silently through the graveyard, the night air cold and heavy. Rain drizzled down, glinting off his black suit like oil. He stopped at a simple gravestone, silver letters catching the moonlight, Felicia Hardy. He crouched there, tendrils curling gently around his fingers, his shadow stretching unnaturally across the damp grass. A slow smile twisted across his face, not warm, not kind, but almost intimate. "Miss me," he whispered, tilting his head, eyes glinting red in the darkness. "I've kept the city safe, just like I promised. But I missed you." He knelt lower, placing a blackened rose on her grave. His fingers lingered, curling almost possessively. "You see, Felicia, I did it all for us. For me, for you, for what we could have been. The world is clean, perfect, and now it's just waiting. Waiting for me to show it the next step." A low chuckle rumbled from his throat, echoing unnervingly through the empty cemetery. "They think I'm gone, that Spider-Man is a memory. But I'm not, and I never will be." The wind whispered through the gravestones, carrying a soft, mournful echo of a life he had once tried to protect. But Peter didn't flinch. He rose slowly, looming over the grave like a shadow given form, a predator savoring the silence. Soon they'll understand," he said, voice dark, cold, and unsettlingly calm. "You, me, New York, it's all mine." He leapt from the tombstones into the night, the rain dripping off his black suit, leaving only the faint, lingering impression of a spider-shaped shadow across the cemetery. Behind him, the world slept, unaware that the line between hero and monster had long since vanished. And somewhere, in the darkness, Spider-Man waited.